Good evening, everybody. My name is Kelly, and I'd like to welcome you to this evening's leadership webinar. We're extremely fortunate tonight to have a nationally recognized motivational speaker, but this gentleman has also worked with some of the largest insurance companies in America, IMOs, FMOs, and he has trained their agents on how to do seminars. He's helped several hundred people in this industry go from average and ordinary to becoming seven-figure income earners. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce Ray Roberge, and when I introduce Ray, I'm going to interview him just a little bit so you really understand what Ray's background is. Ray, are you out there tonight?
I'm here.
Ray, I know prior to becoming a motivational speaker and then going into sales, becoming a top 1% income earner in the industry, as well as training insurance agents, Ray, you're a professional skier. You're ranked in the top 20 in the world. And in addition to that, Ray, you were a coach, and you coached a gentleman that went on to become a four-time world champion. Ray, if you would, let's start there and tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into skiing, how you became ranked in the top 20, and how you became a coach and coached a four-time world champion.
Well, let's see. It all began at the ripe old age of 8. That's when I fell in love with the sport and knew that that's what I wanted to do, and knew I wanted to do it on the highest level and wanted to compete on the highest level. So growing up in Maine, I realized that was not the highest level. So at the age of 18, I moved to where all the great skiers were, Vail, Colorado. And in that process, began learning and practicing and learning and practicing. And I hooked up with a fellow by the name of Joey Cordeau and taught him how to ski. Took him from basically nothing and coached him to go on to become four-time world mogul skiing champion. My career got short-ended with a broken neck. So that'll kind of put you out of the packet pretty quick. And after that, I took what I learned there and brought it into sales and had tremendous success in sales. And then I brought what I learned in sales and brought it into speaking. And now, having been a speaker, presenter, trainer for 30 years, it's a passion that I have, and I love coaching people.
Ray, let's talk a little bit about when you initially got into sales. I know in your resume I was saying that in one sales company, 120 people, you were the number one income earner. Then for 3 consecutive years, you were in the top 1% in America of all salespeople. Ray, what type of training is it that allowed you to excel at that level?
Well, that's the organization I was with was a self-improvement company, and so I had at my access, I had tremendous resources for learning and studying and changing my habits to move into that. And it's, again, it all comes down to passion. It was a love of the product. It was a love of the service. And after that, it was just a natural. I went from there, and then I moved into a marketing company and was in the top 1% of all commission earners in the nation 3 years in a row. And took that and said, you know, what I really love doing is doing workshops and seminars and motivating people and presenting and doing all of that. And that's what I've been doing for 30 years now.
Ray, I'd like to drill down on that just a little bit. You've done over 5,500 seminars in your career. You've specialized, Ray, in working with people in the financial services industry, teaching them how to do seminars, set appointments out of the seminars, and you've taken average and ordinary people who have an extraordinary work ethic, and you've helped them go from an average and ordinary income to 7 figures plus. Ray, how in the world could you do something like that?
Well, once again, it was a workshop that was created between myself and one of my mentors, and the whole object was I would go out and help agents that weren't comfortable speaking in front of a group. They were great at the kitchen table. They were great at the office desk, one-on-one with people, but they really couldn't do a presentation to save their lives. They were petrified of it. And I said, don't worry, I'll do it for you. And I would go out and do the workshops and seminars, and slowly I'd give them a little piece to present, and another little piece to present, and another little piece to present, till eventually they were doing the workshops and seminars on their own. And one individual in particular who was particularly poor in front of the group could not do his seminars, and I did his seminars for an entire year. He did one every single month, and he ended up making $1 million that first year in the business, and that's no exaggeration. And then after that first year, he felt comfortable doing his own workshops, and he started doing them on his own.
That's amazing, Ray. I want to ask you one more question, and then you go ahead and get started in your presentation tonight. Ray, you've obviously over your career worked with thousands of people, and you've had several hundred of them, Ray, that have went on to become seven-figure-a-year earners. Ray, what is the common denominator of someone who's, you've got the same concept, same seminar? What is the common denominator of someone who goes on, takes your information, and they go out and become a seven-figure? What is it that they have that someone else doesn't?
You know, that's a perfect segue into what I'm going to be talking about tonight. That's called the winning edge concept. And that's what I'm going to cover here in great detail.
Ray, take it away. It's my pleasure to introduce you. And Ray, I had the privilege of meeting you last week. You're world class.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. And thank all of you attendees for being on the line. Got a couple things to say up front as we get started. Get a pen, get some paper, turn off the television. If the kids are screaming, go in another room. Because what I have to share with you here is significant, and it's important. It's called the winning edge concept. And I would like to begin with a quote by a little-known individual called Albert Einstein. He said, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. That's what I attempt to do in these workshops that I put on, whether it be for financial advisors or whether it be for groups of 100 or 1,000. We keep it simple. We keep it simple. We keep it straightforward, and it's really what life's all about. Here's what the winning edge concept says, and you might want to write this down. Small differences in skills creates large differences in results. Now, by results, here's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pesos. I'm talking about dinero. I'm talking about Ben Franklin's. I'm talking about appointments. I'm talking about sales. I'm talking about new recruits in this business. It's performance. And small differences in skills creates large differences in results. A couple examples. How many of you out there are golfers? Okay. Oh, I see you raising your hands. Oh, just pretend you're raising your hands. The PGA Tour this year, anyone know who is number one in terms of the money leader on the PGA Tour this year? So far, it is Dustin Johnson is number one. Any guesses as to how much money Dustin has earned? Just prize money. We're not talking endorsements and sponsorship and all of the other money that comes along with being a PGA golfer. I mean, a great PGA golfer. So far this year in money, prize money, he has earned $5,346,600 in prize money. Not bad for hitting a little white ball around on the grass. Anyone out there, and you golfers out there will probably have some idea, what Dustin Johnson's average score is, how many strokes per round of 18. Any guesses? 69.1. Not bad. You know, I look at that and I say, well, that's basically my golf score. I mean, my bowling score. If I could trade my bowling score for my golf score, I'd be great at both of them. Now, another person on the tour this year, right now, and we're halfway into the tour, he's ranked 50th in terms of on the money leaderboard. His name's Chris Kirk. And just to give you an idea of how much money there is in golf, Chris already this year has earned $840,585. Again, that's how much money there is in golf. And I look at that and I said, maybe I should have played golf instead of tried to play the trumpet. Now, here's the amazing thing. Anyone want to guess what Chris's score is for a round of 18? How about 69.8? That is 7/10 of a stroke difference. I'll say it again. Small differences in skills creates huge differences in results, performance. And that's just one example. A quick one. This summer, we got to watch the Olympics in Brazil. The runners, the swimmers, the bicyclists. And in many, many cases, and often in most cases, what separated the gold medal winner from the silver medal winner and the bronze medal winner in most cases? I'll tell you what separated them. It was the snap of a finger, the blink of an eye, a thousandth of a second in some cases. It was a heartbeat. It was a breath that separated the gold medal from the silver medal and the bronze medal winner, and what I also like to call the tin medal winner, which is basically the also-rans. Yeah, small differences in skills creates large differences in results. And I could go on and on and on with different examples. But what I want to do is help you understand why so very few people get the winning edge. And to do that, I need to introduce you to your best friend. That's right. That little blue box is your best friend and also your worst enemy. Your best friend helps you get things done. Your best friend keeps you from doing more. Your best friend controls your weight, and your best friend controls your wealth. Even the quality of your relationships are controlled by your best friend. He's your best friend. He's my best friend. He's your best friend, and he's also your worst enemy. We can choose to shrink our best friend down, or we can choose to expand our best friend. Any guesses as to who your best friend is and your worst enemy? I'll tell you who. It's your CZ. It's your comfort zone. That is your best friend, and it is your worst enemy. Your comfort zone helps you become extremely efficient, which is a good thing. But your comfort zone also keeps you just the way you are. What we tend to do is this with the comfort zone. We go to the edge of the comfort zone, we pull back. We go to the edge of the comfort zone, we pull back. We go to the edge of the comfort zone, we pull back. I call it the comfort zone shuffle. And basically, we continue to do basically the exact same thing over and over and over again, and we're going to get exactly the same results over and over and over again. Here's the problem with the comfort zone. Couple problems with the comfort zone. The comfort zone has a tremendous gravitational pull. You know what I'm talking about. They're called New Year's resolutions. Oh, I'm doing great for about a week after I made those New Year's resolutions. And then, I stumbled a little bit on week 2. Oh, stumbled a little more on week 3. And usually by week 3, week 4, I'm back to the same old me, doing the same old stuff, getting the exact same results. Here's the other problem with the comfort zone. How many of you woke up this morning and said, I want to feel really uncomfortable today? Nobody. I know it. No one does that. If you said yes to that question, you need psychological help. That's not normal. No one wants to feel uncomfortable, so we tend to stay in our comfort zone with the same friends, doing the same things, and getting the same results. Here's the big challenge. If we step out of our comfort zone and we stay out of our comfort zone, what happens? Our comfort zone gets bigger. I'm smarter, I'm faster, I'm better, and hopefully I'm making more money than I was in the past. And that's our challenge, is to step out of that comfort zone and to stay out of that comfort zone. That's why people don't get the winning edge, because they get in their comfort zone and they refuse to step out of it. And it's very, very subtle. Now, knowing what keeps you from getting the winning edge, let's talk a little bit about getting the winning edge. It's called steps to the edge. I'm going to say this about the steps to the edge. They're like a law of nature. Laws of nature are wonderful because you can count on them not once in a while, but 100% of the time. I wake up in the morning and I look to the east, and what do I see coming up over the horizon? It's that big ball called the sun. Then later in the day, I look to the west, and what do I see sinking into that ocean? It's that big ball called the sun. The next morning, same thing. And the morning after that, and the morning after that, and the morning after that, you can count on it. It works 100% of the time. And just like gravity, not just a good idea, it's the law. These steps that I'm about to share with you, if you will look at anything that you are excellent at, I don't care what it is, anything that you're really good at, you will find these steps to the edge. First is this. Watch this. I'm going to amaze you with my PowerPoint brilliance. I want all of you to write this on your piece of paper. Are you ready? Look at that go. Huh? All right. Draw that on your piece of paper. We will fill in the blanks. The steps to the edge. Here's step number one. You have to make a decision. People do not make decisions about becoming excellent in their chosen field of endeavor. You must decide that you're going to become good at what you do. And not just good, but I'm hoping that you're going to decide that you're going to become one of the best, because that's where the fun is. You need to make a decision. Now, don't confuse decision with its evil twin called intention. Think about it. Everyone intends to be a good parent. Everyone intends to be, a great friend. Everyone intends to be successful. Most everyone intends to be successful. And, most everyone intends to take care of their health. That's far different than decision. Get out your dictionary, look up the word. And if you look it up, it says it is to conclude. It is the end of vacillation. It's the termination of doubt or controversy. It is to give one side victory over the other. I like to say excellence over mediocrity. You must make a decision. The reason why people flounder in anything that they do is they never decide they're going to become one of the best. How old do you need to be to make that decision? You can make it at 60, you can make it at 50, you can make it at 40. Age is no barrier to making a decision that you're going to become one of the best. For me, I fell in love at the age of 8. That's right, it happened. I talked about Kelly in the beginning. At the age of 8, I fell in love. I grew up in the South, yes, Southern Maine, and we walked uphill both ways to school. But as walking to school, we walked past this little hardware store called Ketteret's Hardware Store, and that's where we got our penny candy for the day. And one particular snowy day, I was walking past the window, and there in the window of that hardware store was the most beautiful pair of skis I'd ever seen in my life. They were varnished maple with a little leather strap for your foot to go in. Those were the bindings. And then they had these little bamboo ski poles. And I fell in love. I was totally enamored. I had to have them regardless of the cost. And the price was insane. They wanted $1 for these skis. Now, growing up in a family of 9 kids in a little flat with 1 bathroom, there wasn't a lot of extra money around. So what I did is I gathered up a couple returnable bottles. I ran a few extra errands. And I saved up every penny I could. And I went down to that hardware store and I put down my $1. And I was the proud owner of the most beautiful skis on the planet to me. And I fell in love. That's all I wanted to do was ski. The first snowfall of the year, there was never enough snow to ski on. But what I would do is go in my backyard, no hill, mind you. And I would shovel it, the snow that I could, into a little tiny little strip. And I just pulled my way down the end, pulled my way back, pulled my way down the end. And I would do this for hours. The neighbors would call, say, your son is insane. My mom would say, we know. But I was in love. And at the age of 8, made a decision. I was going to become the best skier in the world. When are you going to make that decision about this career that you've chosen? You can do it right now. You can do it tonight, that you're going to become one of the best. And here's what I would like you to make a decision about right now. On that piece of paper that I hope you're writing on and you're taking notes on, what do you want to earn next month? What's your goal, your financial goal for next month? Write it down. Okay, and next month we're starting a new quarter, so multiply that times 4, and that's what you want to earn for the quarter, and then multiply that by the next quarter and the next quarter, and then you'll have your goal for the year. Now, that's important. Here's what I challenge you to do. Write that goal down and write it down every single day and put it in your pocket and carry it with you every single day. And every time you reach into your pocket, you'll be reminded of that goal. And here's the most important thing that I want you to put on that sheet with the goal. The reasons why. It's called leverage. Would all of you agree with me that if I had a big enough lever, I can lift a house? Yes, if the lever is large enough, I can lift a house. You need leverage. And those are the reasons why. Why do you want to earn that amount of money? Go ahead, write a few down right now. Do it. Do it. Write them down. Okay? With that goal, monthly goal, your quarterly goal, your annual goal. Write the reasons why. Take a moment. I'll wait. Why do you want to earn it? It's always the reasons why. The how will manifest itself if you have enough why. If you have a big enough why. So what's your reasons why? Write them down. Challenge you. Rewrite them every day. Put them in your pocket. Carry it with you all day. Put it in your purse. Carry it with you all day. Look at it during the day. Because, whatever you dwell on becomes real. And it'll become real. I think most of you out there know someone that made a decision, and you can make it in the blink of an eye. You can make it in a heartbeat. After a lifetime of, whether it be drugs, crime, violence, whatever it may be, they make a decision and they completely change their lives in an instant. Does that happen? Yeah, it does. And what makes it happen is the reasons why. What are yours for becoming one of the best in this business? Don't confuse decision with intention. Those are two different creatures. Once you've decided that you are going to become one of the best, then you must go to the next step. And it is to learn. You have to learn. You must learn. You ever noticed that learn and earn are almost spelled the exact same way? Coincidence? I don't think so. They go hand in hand. Now, when it comes to learning, one thing that I always teach, and I have an entire workshop on it, is a concept called accelerated learning. And here's how I put it. You need to learn how to learn more gooder and more fastly. You get all that? You need to learn how to learn more gooder and more fastly. Those of you with children out there, you owe it to yourselves to teach your children about accelerated learning. You owe it to yourself to become an expert on accelerated learning. Google it, and you will come up with literally hundreds of resources to learn how to learn more gooder and more fastly. Become an expert at accelerated learning, because in this day and age, things are changing so rapidly and so quickly. We must become experts at learning. We have to be. Now, all leaders are readers. Not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers. Did you get that? I'll say it again. All leaders are readers, but not all readers are leaders. Leaders read. Some readers choose not to read, but leaders read. You need to become a reader. And I know you say, well, I don't have time to read. I don't like to read. Change it. 15 minutes a day. That's all it takes. Get up 15 minutes early. Get a great book. I'm going to make some recommendations as we go through this section. You must become a reader if you're going to be a leader. You have to become one. The other thing I'm going to say is, especially here in California, we spend days sitting in our car listening to She Bop Baloo Wop, She's My Baby. This inane thing called music that just goes on and on and on and on. And this stuff you get drilled in your head. You can't get rid of it even if you want to, because it's just repetition, repetition, repetition. How about instead of learning, music lyrics, how about learning, 101 ways to close a sale? How about learning the powers of persuasion? Turn your car into a university on wheels. We spend days in our cars in Southern California. Make it your university on wheels. You must learn to earn. Now, when I made a decision at the age of 8 that I was going to become the best skier in the world, I went to the Biddeford Public Library and I checked out, back then they only let you check out 4 books at a time. I checked out every book I could find on skiing. I checked out the 4 and I took them back. I checked out another 4 and I took them back. And I checked them out again and I checked them out again. You must learn if you're going to become the best in your field. And if you're going to be a leader in this field, you must learn. You need to read. You need to listen to CDs and tapes in your car. You need to use that time effectively. Turn off the radio, which is basically just chewing gum for the ears, and you'll be amazed at how many books you can go through, how many series you can listen to, how many programs you can get and own them and become better at becoming the best, quicker and faster. Question: do you learn more from your successes, or do you learn more from your failures? I hope the answer was from your failures. So what I would like to do is give you an escalator to get to the winning edge. And it is just simply this. Birds of prey, eagles, hawks, falcons, incredible birds. Owls are included in that. They're amazing birds. Some of them have vision that is 12 times as powerful as human vision. Some of them can attain speeds of 100 miles an hour in a dive for prey, 100 miles an hour. Some of them can lift twice their body weight and still fly. And in addition to that, some of them are so large, they have wingspan that's 12 feet. If you'll put your arms out and you're 6 feet tall, that's 6 feet. And then double that, that's 12 feet. Massive creatures. perfectly designed to do what they do, and that's to catch prey, to make the sale. And yet, with all of that perfection, they fail 9 out of 10 times in their attempts to catch prey. This is ridiculous. Does a eagle say, "Oh, I didn't catch that rabbit, I'm an erring eagle"? Does a falcon say, "I'm a failure as a falcon, I didn't catch that rabbit"? Does a hawk say, no, you know what they do? They just keep on diving and keep on diving and keep on diving 9 out of 10 times. And would you imagine an eagle or a hawk or a falcon saying, "I'm such a failure at a bird of prey, maybe I'll just become a pigeon"? They don't say that. They don't do that. They don't settle for mediocrity. They're not pigeons. They're birds of prey. They're eagles. They're hawks. Nature. Keep trying, keep doing, produce outcomes, dive for prey, and you'll become successful if you just keep producing outcomes. We learn more from our failures than we do from our successes. Here's the escalator to the top. Jot it down. When you understand this concept, when you get it, when you use it, it's a silver bullet to giving you the winning edge. It's called MAV, Massive Aggressive Forward Failure. That's right, Massive Aggressive Forward Failure. When you own that, and when you are committed to that, that's when you'll start seeing the winning edge appear in your life. Small differences in skills, large differences in results. We learn more from our failures than we do from our successes. So what does that say? That says fail often. Fail often. You need to. I need to. The more you fail, the more you will succeed. Just give you a quick example here of someone that you might know. His name? Biggest loser in the history of the NFL. What are you talking about? Yeah, biggest loser in the history of the NFL. In high school, you know why he played football? Because his dad was the coach. That's why he played. And, you know, he was okay in high school. When it came time for college, only one school offered him a scholarship, and that was Southern Mississippi. That's it. That's the only school that offered Brett Favre a scholarship. And after college, well, move on to the NFL. He wasn't even drafted until the second round, and he was drafted 33rd overall. His first year in the NFL, talk about a loser, threw 4 passes, 2 were intercepted, and 2 were incomplete. Brett Favre, he has fumbled the ball. He fumbled the ball over 166 times. That is more fumbles than any other quarterback in the history of the NFL. Brett Favre sacked 525 times, sacked more times than any other quarterback in the history of the NFL. Intercepted 336 times, more interceptions than any other quarterback in the history of the NFL. Loser. Well, not really. See, what Brett Favre understands is massive, aggressive, forward failure. In all of that losing, one of the only quarterbacks to be named MVP 3 consecutive years in a row. In all that losing, Super Bowl champion. In all that losing, still holds the record for the most pass completions at 6,300. In all of that losing, he still holds the record for the most regular season wins as starting quarterback at 186. In all of that losing, he just got surpassed by Peyton Manning in terms of holding the record for the most touchdown passes. Yeah, it's called massive, aggressive, forward failure. And Brett Favre is just an example. I can go on and on and on, and you know all the. Henry Ford, 3 business failures before starting Ford Motor Company. Stephen King's first novel, Carrie, was rejected 30 times before it got accepted. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. And of course, the legend of the amazing Colonel Sanders knocked down on 1,009 doors before he got one restaurant owner to say yes to a 5-cent a piece royalty on his fried chicken recipe. The list goes on and on and on. Here's something that all of the winners in life understand. And some of you more mature members of the audience tonight will recognize that logo. Anyone know what it stands for? Scientifically treated petroleum. But that's not what it stands for in the context of sales and selling. Why do so many people fail in sales? Why do so many people fail in the financial services industry? Fear of failure, fear of rejection. That's why. What the winners have is strategic thought patterns. I'm going to give you one of the strategic thought patterns that all winners have in the financial services industry. Jot it down, learn it, memorize it, get it, and you're well on your way to success. I cannot fail. I can only learn and grow. When you understand that concept that I cannot fail, I can only learn and grow, then you just start producing outcomes and producing outcomes and producing outcomes and producing outcomes. They're not failures, they're an opportunity to learn and grow. I cannot fail, I can only learn and grow. That is a strategic thought pattern of all winners in this industry, of all winners in any industry. I just gave you a handful of examples, and the list goes on and on and on. I cannot fail. I can only learn and grow. That's one of the strategic thought patterns of winners. Let's move on. Remember massive, aggressive, forward failure? You get that. And how you get massive, aggressive, forward failure is you fail in a forward direction. Failure for failure's sake is worthless. It's useless. Don't do it. But fail in a forward direction. And I always say this, it's called second marriages, third marriages, fourth marriages. That's not failing in a forward direction. You're failing, but you're not learning because you just keep repeating the same old habits and same old patterns. Then it ends up that way. Now, once you learn, you got to practice. You must practice, and you must practice over and over and over. All pros practice, amateurs don't. All pros practice, amateurs don't. There's a great book out there that I would recommend to any of you listening here tonight. It's called Talent is Overrated: What Really Separates World-Class Performers from Everybody Else by Jeff Colvin. Excellent book. Available on Amazon.com, as everything is available on Amazon.com. Whatever you can imagine is there. But what it does, the book looks at some of the people that we hold up as geniuses in their respective fields. Just name a few. It talks about Tiger Woods, talks about Jerry Rice, Chris Rock, Mozart, world-class champions at golf and tennis. They have a fellow in there, they just call him SF. The guy can recall 82 digits in order that they were read to him at the rate of 1 per second, and on about these high achievers. And one particular study that I found fascinating in there was they went to the Music Academy of West Berlin. It's a post-secondary school that turns out incredible violinists, solo performers, orchestra players, and some of the finest musicians in the world. And they wanted to find out what separated the good from the better and the best. So they created a study group. They divided them up into, as rated by their teachers, that's a good violinist, that's a better violinist, and that's one of the best violinists. They try to keep them as similar ages as possible, and they followed them for months, and they made them keep a diary of everything. But here's the most striking thing that I found from the study. They asked them from the time they started playing violin till they were 18 years of age, they asked them to estimate how many hours they put into practice. And it was like clockwork, exactly what you'd expect. The good group of violinists practice on average 3,420 hours over their lifetime from the time they started to the age of 18. The better ones in the group of players practice 5,301 hours from their time they started to the age of 18. And the best practice 7,410 hours on average from the time they reached 18. What does it say? And they go on and talk about all these other people, and it's not talent, it's practice. They call it deliberate practice. They call it smart practice. If you continue to practice poor habits playing golf, you're going to get really good with your poor habits. Deliberate practice, smart practice, is with feedback and getting coaching. And all three of the groups agreed on two things. Number one, they said solo practice was the best way to improve. They all agreed. Number two, they all agreed that solo practice was the most difficult to do. I asked salespeople, well, how much time do you spend practicing? Oh, they tell me lots of time, all the time. I practice it every time I'm in front of a client. That's not practice, that's the Super Bowl. That's not practice, that's the World Series. That's not practice, that's March Madness. That's not practice. Practice is something you do on an individual basis. You learn the word tracks, you design the scripts, you figure out the objections, you find out how to handle the objection, and you practice and you practice and you practice. And you will not achieve greatness till you commit yourself to practicing. The pros practice, amateurs don't. How do you fail in a forward direction? After every sales encounter or every presentation that you make, you ask what I call the 6 W's. What are the 6 W's? You might want to write them down. First 3 is what went well. Always ask that question after a presentation because you want to duplicate what went well. You want to replicate it. You want to do it again and again and again so it becomes habit, reflex. And then second question is what went wrong? Or what could I have done better? But that didn't rhyme with 6 W's. So I said, what went wrong? What I'm really asking, what could I have done better? And if you'll ask that after every presentation, you will fail in a forward direction. And if you'll fail often, you will succeed often. Unless you have the courage to fail often, you will never succeed on a great level. You must have the courage to fail off. Fear of rejection, fear of failure is what keeps people from failing. Now, we talked about practice. That's one of the toughest things to do. And we do it solo, we do it by ourselves. And once we become proficient, then we rehearse. We rehearse in front of friendly faces, our coaches, our mentors, our family. You rehearse your skills in front of these people that you know, and you become It's called dress rehearsal. If you've ever seen a Broadway play, you know what I'm talking about. The good ones are completely canned. Every movement is canned. Everything is canned. Everything is scripted. But do the good ones appear canned? No, they appear natural and they flow. Why? Because they rehearse and they rehearse and they rehearse and they rehearse. Dress rehearsal. You need to dress the part and you need to rehearse in front of friendly faces. Your coach or your mentor, your family. And the next step is you have to perform. You got to take the snap from center. You have to step into the batter's box. You have to ask, what do you know about index universal life? You have to ask, do you have children? What I do is help families find the best colleges at the best prices. You have to perform. You know, of all of Brett Favre's records, you know which one he regards as the most incredible of all? 298 consecutive starts. That's more than any other player in the NFL. Any other player at any position, not just quarterback position. You see, Brett Favre performed. He took the snap from center. He let the ball go. He got sacked. He got hit. He practiced massive aggressive forward failure, and he learned from every failure. It's called watching the game video. You must perform. You have to get out there and make the calls and make the contacts. And if you do that, you will get the winning edge. So what is the result of all of this? Did I become the best skier in the world? Well, before I tell you that, let me just say this. I am, and I know a lot of you that know me probably wouldn't believe, but I'm a physical dunce. That is the truth. I didn't make Little League. Wait a minute. They let everyone play Little League. No, they don't. I'm here to tell you. Coach, look, just put me out in right field. No, the center fielder said he'd rather cover both than have you out there. Ouch, that's painful. When it came to basketball, so tell me this one more time, Coach. What, you want me to dribble and you want me to run and not look at the ball? Sorry, I can't do that. And I threw the basketball back to him. Football, I'm a bleeder. I don't think two objects traveling in opposite directions should collide. I don't like to get hit. I'm physical dunce, but something happened. I found a passion. I made a decision at the age of 8 that I was going to become the best skier in the world. I went out and I learned, and it took me 2-3 times more than anyone else to learn a new maneuver on ski. I practiced by myself constantly. I had my own music with me and constantly always practice. I rehearsed and I went out and performed. And I'll tell you what, those first few competitions were pretty ugly, pretty embarrassing. I nearly killed myself in most of the first few competitions. And boy, did I experience massive aggressive forward failure. How about a broken neck and a month in the hospital? Yeah, a lot of failure. But what happened is this. I ended up being ranked the top 20 skiers in the country. And I have to say that not bad for a klutz, not bad for a physical dunce. You see, not everyone can be the gold medal winner. Not everyone can be the silver or the bronze. That's the beauty of sales. That's the beauty of life. We can become one of the best. And becoming one of the best is a great place to be. And I encourage you to make that decision and become one of the best. I took what I learned in skiing, I brought it into sales. Same stuff applies. Am I the best salesperson in the world? Heck no, I'm not. But ranked in top 1% of all commission salespeople 3 years in a row, number one in a group of 125 sales. But I'm not the best salesperson in the world. There are lots better. But I'm one of the best. And I took it into speaking. And am I the best speaker in the world? Of course I am. No, I'm kidding. I'm better than I was yesterday, and I'm better than I was the day before. We can all become one of the best. There's not just a gold and a silver and a bronze medal winner. We can become one of the best if you'll just apply the steps to the edge. I encourage you. It's simple. Einstein said it. Everything should be made as simple as possible. That's as simple as possible. And I want to say thank you.